Hello and welcome to the interviews for Allen & Overy's Black History Month event. I'm Karen Boadu, an associate in the Funds and Asset Management Group here at A&O. Today we'll be interviewing Felicia Hanson Ofori-Quaah, who is the General Counsel at MacGatter Networks.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Thank you. We'll be interviewing Felicia in connection with the theme, if you can't see it, you can't be it. We're also joined today by Lennon Baluku, who is a student from Bishop Challoner School.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So Felicia, what advice would you give the newly qualified version of yourself with the benefit of experience and hindsight?
Wow, I think the first thing that comes to mind really is to not be afraid. Really, as an NQ, I would say that I was so afraid of getting anything wrong, of going out, putting myself out there. Making myself seen and known. I was convinced that, if I just get my head down and do the work, it will speak for itself. So I had the sort of innate fear of putting myself out there, of, owning my work and being proud of it and telling people what I was doing. The other thing I will tell my younger self is not to undervalue the value of the network, from your own peers as trainees to other colleagues that you work with, people you meet at networking events. It is so important because you do not know further down where everybody's going to end up and how the legal world is actually very small. So what you find is everybody's moving around in very similar spaces, and so there are opportunities, especially when you think about business development in private practice. These are the people that could potentially be your future clients if you pursue partnership in the law firms. In the same way, these relationships help you if you decide to go into private in-house, because these same relationships will be, the people that you will feed work to. If you need quick advice, those are the people that you would contact. So I think the value of the network, not being afraid to put yourself out there, let people know who you are. And for me as well, what I would say to my sort of newly qualified self is to not worry about bringing my own identity into the workplace, because at the end of the day, if you are being true to yourself, you are at your happiest and at your most genuine, which means that you're not sort of tripping over yourself because you're pretending to be something that you're not.
I really love what you said about bringing yourself to work, because I think it's really important for us to feel comfortable in the workplace.
Indeed.
And it's essential. So thank you so much for those words of wisdom.
My
I'll pass
pleasure.
over to Lennon to ask a couple more questions.
My question is, so as you know, this year's theme for the Black History Month is time for change, action, not words. What do you think can be done to improve the diverse representation within the legal industry?
Wow. I think that's $1 million question. If the answer was easy, hopefully the solution would have already been had. So I think from a law firm perspective, over the years that I have been in practice and out of it, there has been a vast improvement in recruitment. So I will not focus on that so much because I think a lot has been done on getting more diverse applicants in, more diverse trainees into the profession. So I think that, there's a positive there. There are two other strands that I think need a lot of work, and that they are retention and promotion. Retention basically revolves around making sure that the law firm is actually an environment that is conducive to the professional development of Black associates, so that they feel included, they feel like they're being developed, they feel like their career trajectory is, there is a plan in place for their career. That can be done really through, teams and partners being intentional about that and making sure that the Black associates get the work that will also give them the opportunity to have the experience. Good quality work, not just the stuff that, others don't want to do. That would give Black associates a lot of confidence, making sure that, the environment is such that they are getting good work, not just putting them on the pitches which relate to Africa, and then they go to the pitch, and then they win the pitch, and they don't get staffed on the deals. They need to get a lot of experience, and so they need to be staffed. That automatically allows them to feel like, they're valued in their organization, and so they're more likely to stay. And if they're more likely to stay, when you come to a pipeline, you will look and see that you actually have candidates that you can promote. Now, promotion is the next thing. That is ultimately not everyone who starts off as a trainee is going to make partner. Yeah. That much is clear. However, there is a disproportionate number of black candidates who start that do not get promoted. So you ask yourself, what the industry needs to ask itself is, what is going wrong there? It's not that the candidates do not have the ability. They are all very capable. They demonstrated that as they came through the process. Something somewhere went wrong, for example, not getting the work and not being supported. But once you've got over the retention problem, as I've suggested, the next thing is promotion. And so it is incumbent on law firms to make it a priority that their partners and decision makers actively seek to sponsor black associates. They do it naturally for the white associates because there's a natural affinity. And because of the lack of numbers, the black associates don't necessarily have other people who they have affinity to sponsor them. And what I mean by sponsor is really for, partners to stand up for you in a room when you're not there, promote you in the sense of show the other partnership, this associate does excellent work. I'm taking them under my wing. I'm going to show them the ropes of, how to do business, how to network, because at this point, legal knowledge is assumed, right? But you need to be able to give black associates the support they need to start building a business, because once you become a partner, is a business, right? So you need to be able to know how to go out and get clients. How do you do that? Networking. If a sponsor is not taking a black associate to networking events, they're not going to meet anybody who will then become their clients. So what I would say is that, it should actually be one of the metrics in determining remuneration for partners, in terms of them demonstrating how many, let's call it diverse associates that they have personally sponsored, to ensure that there is a path there. And if that associate ends up not making it, we need to assess why. Some people leave because there's natural attrition, but you always need to understand why someone is leaving. Were they leaving because they didn't feel included? Were they leaving because they didn't feel like they were getting the same opportunities, et cetera, et cetera? And so law firms need to be very intentional about putting systems in place to ensure that once they get the diverse associates in, they keep them and they promote them. The moment you have a lot more diverse associates becoming partners, the numbers grow, there's a lot of representation. Younger trainees will come up, they'll be in the law firm, and they'll see that actually there isn't that one token partner. There are a few partners, male, female, who are there, so I can see that I can, if I do the right thing, if I work hard, if I network, if I do really good work, I can also do that. So I would say that that's probably a couple of things that the industry generally, and law firms in particular, could do to help improve the numbers of black associates.
Thank you for that question.
You're welcome.
That was really insightful. I have one more question. So I would like to know, since you have got many achievements, to young black aspiring lawyers, you would be viewed as a role model.
Thank you.
So I'd like to ask, what would you consider to be the biggest game changer regarding your career success?
Ooh. I mean, I think it goes down to, I can see probably 3 significant moments in my career, and they all involved either sponsors or the network, my network that I'd built over the years. So I would say that I transitioned, I qualified as a corporate lawyer and during the credit crunch, and I transitioned to be a project finance lawyer through the support of one of the partners that I worked with. And that, changed the course of sort of my career significantly then. And then I would also say that in terms of how I came to my current role, which is general counsel at Mangata Networks, It was through my network. It was someone that I had worked with before, and we were no longer working together, but we maintained the relationship. And one day I got a call saying, I know someone looking for a general counsel. I think you'll be good for the job. Down to relationships. It's really what is pivotal in careers ultimately, and you have to really build the relationships, nurture them. What you don't want to do is only contact someone when you need something. You develop the relationship in the same way that you do with your friendships at school. Those are going to be your prized assets, the people that you know, the people that you work with. And so in terms of what I can attribute to where I am now, it's not really down to the work that I've done. It's down to the people that I've been with, that have supported me, and that have, found an opportunity and brought it to my attention. So I would say, to reiterate, that the value of your network cannot be underestimated, really. So you should invest in it heavily, and it's never too early. Even, at your age, pre-GCSEs, the same people you invest in those relationships, because you don't know where anybody's going to end up. And one day you will find that, 10, 15 years down the line, you go to an event and you see someone that you went to school with, that you were nice to, and all of a sudden they're in a position where they can offer you work, offer you business. And so that is a real sort of asset to have, the relationships.
Thank you for that. I really liked your point about nurturing relationships and networking effectively.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Felicia. It's been amazing.
Thank you very much for having me.